Well, hi everyone, welcome back to the Living in Coastal Virginia channel. Today we're going to go over cost of living in Virginia Beach. Let's hit it. Everyone, welcome back to the Living in Coastal Virginia channel. We do cover everything work, live, play in the coastal Virginia area. Today we're talking specifically about Virginia Beach and what does it cost to live here. We're going to cover housing and food and groceries, utilities, that type of thing. So let's roll into this. If you are looking at moving into the area, this is what I do day in, day out, is work and live as a realtor in Norfolk. There's a kid banging on the window next to me. So if we can help serve your family, help get into the area and make that transition smooth and easy for you, that's what we do. So let's roll into cost of living in general. If you're looking at just kind of the national average, we're about 6% higher than the rest of the nation. The majority of that is going to be taken up into your housing costs. You know, it's a huge portion of everybody's budget. And Virginia Beach just is a little more expensive to live than most of the other cities in Hampton Roads. The average cost of a house in Virginia Beach is about $352,000 as of December 2020, which is substantially more than some of the surrounding cities. There are some entry points where you can get into condos and townhomes below that, but you're going to be sharing a wall. So something that you just need to be prepared to do. In general, the main reason that people moved to Virginia Beach rather than some of the other surrounding cities is just access to beach lifestyle. And Virginia Beach is actually quite a large city. So even in southern Virginia Beach, people are looking to get away from the city per se, and maybe get some acreage. So when you're looking at the kind of the more desirable homes in the area, things along the ocean front, things within walking distance of the beach, acreage, and another big reason people move to Virginia Beach is new construction. Almost all of those start somewhere in the $450,000 to $500,000 range and go up from there. So if that's something that you're looking for, Virginia Beach has a lot of those options available, but it comes with a price tag. All right, so let's talk about what the difference is maybe between owning a house, buying and renting. I'm gonna kind of use my cheat sheet here, but really we're looking at 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom, and 4 bedroom. And I'm gonna kind of give you an idea of what, if you're gonna spend this much on rent, which is the normal rent for the area, what that could buy you as a home for a mortgage payment. Obviously that's gonna widely vary depending on the loan product that you're using, how much you're putting down, what your debt to income and credit profile look like. But in general, this kind of gives you a rule of thumb to go by. So for like a 1 bedroom, you're probably gonna be looking at $1,100. That at today's interest rates, again, depending on, it's gonna buy you somewhere in the range of $190,000 to $210,000 of a home. For a 2 bedroom, you're probably looking somewhere around $1,300 a month. Again, that's gonna buy you somewhere in the range of $230,000, $240,000 for the house. 3 bedroom, again, rent, you're looking at $1,825 or so. And again, that's going to buy you somewhere in the range of $325,000, $340,000 worth of home. And then if you're looking for a 4-bedroom home, let's say you got that big family going on, $2,300 is the average for our area, which means if you were to take that and purchase the equivalent for a house, you're probably going to be looking at somewhere in between $400,000, $450,000 range. I say this often is that you really need to look at the long-term benefit of buying versus renting. If you're going to be there, you win in real estate by playing the long-term game. If you're going to roll the dice and just kind of bet on the rapid appreciation of what today's market is, you might lose because you never know how long it's going to last. But it may make sense for you. Let's say that you don't want to have a landlord. You don't want them telling you how long your mother-in-law can stay in town, or maybe you do. You don't want them telling you what kind of breed dog you can have, whether you can paint the walls. Those are all reasons, mostly, kind of more of the emotional side of home buying, to buy a house versus rent. But if you're gonna be here for a short period of time and you don't want the pain in the ass that comes with home ownership, maybe renting is gonna make sense for you instead. All All right, something a little more boring. Let's hit utility cost. I said this in my previous video that we're kind of on par with the national average of what it costs per kilowatt hour, but no one really pays attention to that. They just want to know, are my utility costs going to be crazy or not? One of the benefits potentially of buying in Virginia Beach than maybe one of the surrounding cities, say like Norfolk or Portsmouth or Newport News, is we tend to have a lot more new construction, or the housing stock itself is a lot newer than some of the surrounding cities. And with that comes, I went to ODU for civil engineering. I know I'm not using that degree anymore. But one of the things that I thought was super interesting was green building. And when it comes along with that, with utility costs, is there's a huge variety of what can influence what those utilities costs are. The size of the home is going to make a huge impact on whether or not your utility bills are going to be super high. Next piece is just going to be, how efficient is your home? Having ceiling, so air sealing and insulation are going to make a big impact on whether or not your as what I would say when my dad was growing up and I left the door open and it was heating or cooling the outdoors. So a really leaky house, like an old house, that's something that I live in. I live in Norfolk. I have a 1912 home. It's a leaky house. And so when I'm running my HVAC equipment, which is newer HVAC equipment that's super efficient, it's still a leaky house. And so there's just lots of air coming in and out of the house, and you have to heat all that new air coming in or cool it off. HVAC equipment's another big piece of those utility costs. If you're looking at buying a house or renting a house and the equipment there is super old, well then again, it's going to be potentially really inefficient and or need a lot of regular servicing. And so your daily utility bill doesn't really take into account the servicing bills of old equipment. And then the last one is just your personal comfort level. I've had clients who are moving out, and I've told them during the summer, I'm like, hey, if people are going to come in and show your house, or you're going to try to sell this thing, you need to kick it down like 10 degrees. People do not want to walk through your home of it being humid and 82 degrees inside. Just kicking it down to 74, using the HVAC equipment to pull the humidity out of the house makes it far more enjoyable for people to come in and not sweat as they're looking at your home. So again, your personal comfort level is going to go a long way on what those costs are. So anyway, that's utilities. Next thing we're going to talk about is transportation. Virginia Beach is a big city. I think we're number 39th of cities in the nation. 450,000 plus people that live in the area, but it's spread out. Virginia Beach's a big, big city over a lot of area. And so I think the average transit time is somewhere around 23 to 26 minutes. To live in Virginia Beach and not have a car is going to be very, very difficult. The benefit of being maybe in Virginia Beach and the majority of your shopping and going and running errands is that you don't really have the tolls that you have maybe in Norfolk or Portsmouth or Newport News that you're going to be going in and out of. And so although it may still make sense for you to get an easy pass for when you do have to go through those, because again, that reduced the cost of that by 2 or 3 times, you're just not going to need it nearly as much as the other cities. So there's a benefit there, a cost maybe savings that you would see. But you are going to absolutely need a car to get around here. I mentioned in my other video, Gas Buddy is an app that I use to look at for cheap spots to pick up gas. And really what I've gotten to the habit is I'll go on my phone, I'll look up 3 or 4 in an area, again, because I do a lot of driving as a realtor, being able to go from like half a mile down the street and get 30 cents a gallon cheaper, I might just be miserly here, but can save a decent amount of money when you're putting a lot of miles on your vehicle. One of the things that you need to also kind of pay attention to with Virginia Beach is Virginia Beach has a lot of tourism, especially during the summer. We have it's a destination spot for a lot of locals within like 100 miles driving distance. And so when you're going down to the oceanfront to enjoy some of that nightlife and music and such, another thing would just be like food and like going to the Walgreens down there. Everything's more expensive, and they're making bets that they're going to make some extra dollars on those vacationers. So make sure if you're going to live here, I'm putting this under transportation, but grab some snacks at like a grocery store before you head out there, or grab a boogie board from somewhere outside the area, or grab some gas before you make sure that you're not getting it right there in the oceanfront, because they definitely inflate their prices down there. All right, so let's hit my favorite topic on every single one of these cost of living videos: eating out. I do love the amount of fantastic food that we have here in the Hampton Roads, coastal Virginia area. Obviously, if you're going to McDonald's or Arby's or one of these quick drive-through national chains, it's really not going to vary very much. It's not going to vary very much. We're going to leave that in there. on cost than if you were driving through the mountains of West Virginia. The biggest thing is going to be whether you're eating locally out. I found that whether it's Norfolk, Portsmouth, there's very little variance, but it is going to vary quite a bit on how bougie you want to get. So there are some wonderful, wonderful places to eat. We're right next door to one called the Butcher's Son. Goodness gracious, do they have great food there. As we were walking up here, I asked Sean if he'd been there before. Sean, if you had to kind of place Butcher's Son on like the top of where you've eaten, where would you put it?
It's definitely top 10.
Top 10, yeah. If you want to get a quick bite to eat out, say like Taste Next Door or some one of the other local places, you could easily drop, if you want to get a whole bunch of little snacks and things on the side, 20, 30, 40 bucks. But you can easily get food at one of the local places down here under $25 with a tip included. But it can also go up from there. I mean, there's some very nice restaurants in the area. Again, the Butcher's Son to name one of them. But if you want to get a 3-4 course meal, take your lady out, do a nice dinner, try and impress somebody, you can drop 200 bucks pretty easy, pretty quick. And it's not, that's easy to do. Much like the rest of the area, we do have a ton of breweries. Like I said, once O'Connor shot up in 2010 in Norfolk, almost the entire area just started popping up. I want to say we have 9 or 10 just in Virginia Beach again. Some close to the ocean front, some in South Virginia Beach. But again, you're going to have a huge variety of breweries. Some of them even have awesome outdoor hangout spaces that you can go hit up. The majority of the places that you're going to find to eat are probably going to be here at Hilltop. You've got Town Center, you've got Lynn Haven Mall, Chicks Beach. Those are going to probably be your main areas where the majority of the population of restaurants and places to eat are at. But there are some really interesting ones scattered out throughout Virginia Beach, even if you go to South Virginia Beach, really close to the farms. So I didn't hit this in the Norfolk one because we don't really have it. But South Virginia Beach has quite a few little farms that you can go out and pick strawberries. I want to say they have pumpkins. They have blueberries, Sean, do you know?
I don't think so.
I know strawberries is the big one for us. But yeah, they've got a variety of different picking seasons where either one, you can go out and get the fresh fruit, or you can go out there with their kids. Something I've done with my kids, several summers in a row, is go out there with, they'll give you a basket and you just go out there and pick as many as you want. Okay, so a few quick mentions on food. I mentioned one earlier, but again, Sean and I host a small local kind of podcast and show called the I Love Cova Show, where we spotlight local businesses and then do a really cool giveaway. We'll probably partner up with the Butcher's Son here soon and maybe do a really fancy dinner out for 2 or something along those lines. So stay tuned for something like that. But a quick few shout outs would be one, the Butcher's Son. I think they probably have one of the best steaks in the area. We got Isle Capri down on the ocean front. They're on the top floor of the Holiday Inn on 39th Street, I believe it is. My wife actually used to be the GM there before she joined me in the real estate industry. Pasquale's the chef there. Phenomenal food. They have a crazy good Caesar salad, and their chocolate torte is made by the chef's wife. So it's the dessert I get every single time I go there. You've got Steinhilber's, which is a quick little shout out. It's hard to find. You have to actually look it up or know about it as a local because it's tucked away into a little neighborhood. But their half-fried chicken is insanely good. Then you've got Repeal Bourbon and Burgers down on 22nd Street near the ocean front. This is one that actually my wife and I kind of stumbled upon. We were wrapping up the day at the beach with the kids down on the ocean front. We're looking up, we both wanted a burger. I typed in burger into Google. They happened to be around the corner, stopped in there, and by God was I surprised at how good it was. They have a couple things. So one of them would be kettle chip nachos, where they use kettle actual chips, and then they use real chili and beer cheese. It's insanely good. When it comes to food, food tends to be the second largest portion of most people's budgets. And eating out can be a huge portion of that. It's really going to depend on how often you eat out, but you can drop some serious coin because there's so many good places to eat here. The last one I almost forgot was the Atlantic. Have you ever been to the Atlantic, Sean? Crazy good seafood, really, really good. Down near the ocean front, they have a lobster mac and cheese, which is it's almost dumb how yummy it is. Let's roll next to groceries, right? So talking about being larger portions of the budget. Groceries, again, nothing off the normal of what you're gonna see nationally just for regular groceries. But what you are gonna see here is like right down the road, we've got a Whole Foods, a Trader Joe's. They've got some little bespoke places where you can kind of get, maybe some one-off, single origin quinoa that I don't know about or care about, because I don't care about quinoa and it's awful and get gross. But if you want some serious bespoke boutique little places that Virginia Beach has a lot of those little shops. One of the benefits, so let's roll over here into taxes and like costs. The biggest benefit to living in Virginia Beach is, other than Williamsburg, they have the lowest property taxes in the area. Doesn't really hold, I guess part of it's going to be that there's just a lot of land and a lot of taxpayers, and so they're able to capture, lower that rate for everybody. But what's awesome is Virginia Beach also has some of the highest rated schools in the area, and so you get this, instead of having to worry about trying to pay for private school, you get to use the benefit of your property taxes to pay for, a wonderful public school. If I haven't mentioned it already, I am a active realtor in the area. I have a small team that helps find, buyers and homes and helps sellers get the top dollar for their places. My wife is a lender and helps people either, one, get the best deal for their mortgage or refinance and make sure that makes sense for them. If we can serve your family in any way, hit us up with the information down below. Sean will probably put it in like here or here or here, or maybe even just directly over my face. So if we can serve your family, that'd be fantastic. We'd love to do so. And stay tuned for the next video. We're gonna be rolling these out twice a week. Peace out.